To begin the lab, we calibrated the pH meter by using two buffer solutions, one with a pH of 7 and one with a pH of 4. We started by removing the pH meter wand from its attached bottle and rinsing with distilled water. After dabbing the wand dry with paper towels, we inserted the wand into the first buffer solution with a pH of 7, gently stirring the solution with the wand. We then let it sit for a moment before inputting the correct pH on the screen of the pH meter. We repeated this same process for a buffer with a pH of 4 after rinsing the pH meter wand with distilled water and dabbing it dry with a paper towel. A buffer is a solution that contains a weak acid and its conjugate base or vice versa. Because both the acidic or basic compound and its conjugate exist in the solution, it is resistant to pH change when acids and bases are added. Buffer solutions are in an equilibrium state and will attempt to maintain equilibrium. If an acid is added, the conjugate base will combine with the new hydronium ion, forming more acidic compound and helping to retain the initial pH. If a base is added, the acidic compound would react with the hydroxide ion and therefore dissociate, creating more hydronium ions to react with the new hydroxide ions, both of which remove the hydroxide ions from the solution. Once we finished calibrating the pH meter with the buffers, we started recording the pHs of our other solutions. Here we measured the pH of hydrochloric acid by using the same technique of rinsing the wand with distilled water, patting it dry, and letting the wand sit in the solution until the pH meter settled on a value. In our experiment, the pH of our hydrochloric acid solution was 0.44, which we recorded in a table in our lab books. We repeated this same technique again for the rest of the solutions involved in the experiment and recorded the pHs of each solution in our lab notebooks. Strong and weak acids break down in water differently. While strong acids operate similarly to ionic compounds and fully dissociate into a hydrogen proton and conjugate base, weak acids only partially ionize. Only a percentage of the weak acidic compound dissociates, leaving hydrogen protons and conjugate base anions, but also leaving aqueous non-dissociated acidic compounds in solution. In the resulting solution, the aqueous acidic compound continues to dissociate, but at the same rate, the conjugate base and hydronium ions are reforming into an aqueous acidic compound, thus creating an equilibrium state. One could encourage the dissociation of weak acidic compounds and thus minimize equilibrium effects by introducing a strong base that would consume the hydronium ions produced by the weak acid, causing the equilibrium reaction to become more product favored.